Welcome to Ron's Garage. I think it's January 6th. I'm not sure. All I know is that one of the things that's attractive about California is the sunshine and the clear skies and I think they call it tepid weather. It doesn't get too extreme, but where a lot of the other parts of the country have their natural disasters like tornadoes and hurricanes and that kind of stuff. We get earthquakes, but not very often. Well, we also have fire season. And I don't live anywhere near any of that, but there are a few colleagues that I know that are up near what they call the Palisades fire currently. And one of them is a colleague who is a Disneyland musician, and he has a fantastic YouTube channel, and his name is Aiden Ritchie, and he had to evacuate. I want to wish Aiden and his wife safety up there, and hopefully his home will be protected and he will be okay. Before I get started on a new sort of an unboxing that I have today, I've actually had it for a while, I just didn't make a video on it. Give a shout out to a couple of YouTube channels that have inspired me to create this channel at Ron's Garage. So my main inspiration for creating this channel was the big guy Wesley, House of Tone. I've been watching him for a couple of years now, and he's just fantastic. His channel's great. His videos are wonderful. He's the master. Okay, so now we'll move on to not necessarily repair, but we'll move on to informational sites about different instruments, instrument types, and whatnot. And the next one on my list is going to be Sam Plays Brass. Now, he's been doing this for a while. He's been doing this since he was like a teenager, and he was super skinny with braces and big mop of hair all over the place, but with this low baritone voice. And the guy is an engineering major, and he sounds like an engineering major. And when you watch his videos, he gives you a wonderful palette of information with every video that he does. And he does everything. I mean, he'll play trumpets, trombones, tubas, baritones, you name it. He plays brass. And he also does a lot of wonderful videos on various mouthpieces and comparisons. I mean, he's, for a youngster, he has created a really incredible channel for himself, and you should check it out because he does a lot of great stuff. I only cover trombones and tenor trombones. I don't even cover bass trombones or baritones or anything like that. I may in the future. I'm not a bass trombone guy. That's Aiden Ritchie, and he's the next guy on my list that I'm giving a shout out to. So Aiden Ritchie, Trooper alumni. I found that on his website. He wore a Trooper shirt on one of his videos. I wear a Trooper shirt because I and my family performed with the Legacy Corps back in 2023. But Aiden's a bona fide Junior Corps Trooper alumni. And he's all about the bass trombones. He's all about the bass. And that's his forte, is bass trombones. I don't do bass trombones. He talks about a few single rotor concert trombones, and occasionally he'll have a tenor trombone that he'll talk about, but his forte is bass trombone. So check out Aiden Ritchie's channel. He's got thousands and thousands and thousands of subscribers. He's been doing this for a while. Same with Sam Plays Brass. He's got a whole mess of subscribers as well. I've got just a little measly 217 subscribers as of today, and I've been doing this since about June. And I don't know if I'll ever get that popular, but it doesn't really matter. I'm doing this to share with the community and try to provide something different than the other three masters that I just named, which is Wesley on instrument repair, all over. He doesn't just do brass, he does everything. But they're fantastic videos. Sam Plays Brass, who does a whole bunch of different brass instruments, mouthpieces, and things associated with. He even gets accessories that I think are sent to him that he reviews as well. And then, of course, Aiden Ritchie doing the bass trombones. Is there anybody else out there? Probably, but those are my three main guys that I watch. And then there is another repair guy who is actually a drummer, and I forgot his name, but he's had a couple really good videos as well. And then every now and then you might find a bass trombone player doing some stuff up there, and he's a personal friend of mine. His name is Nathan Fulmezi, so you may want to check him out as well. So that's the call outs for all the gents that I aspire to and who have inspired me to do this channel. Now, let's get on with the show. So I got a horn. This one's an oddball. People don't know what it is, but let me show it to you. Here's this beautiful case. I put this handle on it because I always pick things up and move them from the top, as you can see in this mess of my garage. I still need to put a handle on this one right here. Anyway, back to this. So you can see the case, very vintage, looks very 1950s. I'll be honest with you, I don't know when these horns were made. I bought one earlier that really intrigued me because it had this asymmetrical counterweight that was up here. Well, this one was completely missing the counterweight. Hold on a sec here. I took a spare brace and put it between these two pieces here. It's not the prettiest job, but it's effective, and I could put a counterweight on it because it had no counterweight. But this instrument is a Kratt. And Chris Kratt was an importer based in New York back in the 1950s, 1960s, but you can see the beautiful bell etching here. Chris Kratt. He didn't make these, he imported them. They were made by, as you can see here, A.R. I'm supposing the pronunciation may be Huettl, Huettl, in Beiersdorf, West Germany. And Chris Kratt was in Union, New Jersey. But this is a great little tenor here. So you can see it's got, and I have another one of these, so actually does have the counterweight on it. But this has like a nickel flare on it, very much like the old studios of the 1950s. The bell is relatively light, which is kind of nice, and it plays well. It doesn't have a tremendous amount of nickel on it. I would say that it feels more like an intermediate horn than it does a professional horn. I suppose if it was a pro horn, it may have a little more nickel up here, maybe a nickel gooseneck to give it that resistance that's required to really sizzle in the upper register. But this is a really lovely slide. The hand grips here are really beautiful. They seem chrome plated, not nickel, but chrome plated. And when I got it today, the slide was a little rough, so I dipped it in the bath, the acid bath, cleaned it up. Slide works great now. It's a 484 bore. Checked it with my calipers. So 484. So we know that the King 2B is a 482, and the Con 4H is a 484, and I believe the Martin Committee is either is a 485. So it's all in that low 480 zone that makes it that small tenor that was real popular in the 40s and 50s. So yeah, this is a great horn. It actually plays really well. I've been playing it mostly in the evening. This is kind of interesting too. If you look at this is on the side. It's a side-mounted spit valve. The only other ones I've seen like this have been on Martin Committees. So A.R. Huettl, of course, is a German maker, and these were being imported by Chris Kratt, who apparently died around 1982, I think. I was just reading up on it. You can find information on this on brasshistory.net in terms of Chris Kratt. But the other one I have actually has the asymmetrical. It's got a bar that kind of comes up like this and comes down at an angle, and with a circular counterweight in it that has C and K on it for Chris Kratt. The one I bought previously had it upside down, so people didn't know what it was. But no, this is a great horn. It's really kind of cool. I wish I could find the serial number index to figure out where this is placed, but it clearly looks like a 1950s model, for this instrument. But yeah, Chris Kratt, A.R. Huettl, German maker, both completely out of business. But it's just a real treat to have something old like this that's not a well-known brand, but really well made, to be honest with you. So let me put this back over here with my other stuff, and I'll get that put away. I'm currently stripping a 1970s Reynolds medalist here that you saw probably in a previous video that I'll have up in a little bit. Very similar if you think about the Chris Kratt I just had up here. Brass here. I mean nickel. No nickel here, nickel piece here. So it's very similar to this. This was considered the student model for Reynolds when it had already moved to Fullerton, and they were basically coming off the line with the Olds Ambassadors. So, but these are different. The Olds Ambassadors did not have this nickel up here. The Reynolds Medalist does. The Olds Ambassadors did not have this solid nickel brace here. They had those sort of rectangular hollow braces, which made them lighter. You know, you may not know this, but every now and then I'll read a review or somebody's comment saying, "Oh, I had an Olds Ambassador when I was a kid in school, and it was heavy as hell." Blah 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 blah. You know what? Of all the Olds tenor instruments, the Olds Ambassador had the lightest slide. It was a 7-ounce slide. By today's standard, that's considered a lightweight pro slide. So the Olds Ambassadors has those tubular rectangular braces, which were basically designed to be low cost production to make the horn affordable. But what they ended up doing was creating a lightweight outer slide on the Ambassador, which was kind of cool. I mean, everything else is heavier. You get to the Special, you get to the Studio, and you get to the Super, and all the slides were in the 8-ounce range. Now, here's the interesting thing, going back to the Kratt A.R. Heddle trombone. This whole trombone, I put it on my scale, is only 2 pounds and 5.5 ounces. That is super light. Standard is like about 3 pounds, and anything under 3 pounds is generally considered about a pro weight horn. Now, here's the hitch. The slide is like almost 9 ounces. It's like a high 8 point something ounces, which is considered kind of heavy for a small tenor. So what makes it as light as it is the bell section is very light. It's kind of a German tradition, and I say this because I've done reading on it, that the tradition of German trombone making was to make the bell thin and light and make the slide heavier and more substantial. I'm not sure what the reasoning is behind it, but it does provide a nice center. The horn is very responsive upon attack, and that may be the benefit of the heavier slide. And the lighter bell, of course, gives it more of a brilliance because it's a lighter weight metal. Student horns nowadays coming out of China have a thick brass, kind of soft brass though. It bends kind of easily. But the bells are heavy and the slides are heavy, and those horns are well over 3 pounds. So it's just kind of interesting how you look at the horns. I mean, I always get a horn and I'll weigh the slide just to see where it's at, and I'll weigh the bell, and then I'll weigh the whole thing. These horns were lightweight, and again, it was a surprise to me that the Olds Ambassador outer slide was only 7 ounces, which is about the exact same weight as the P16 Pro slide when they made the P16 in the mid to late 1970s. Anyway, so that was today's sharing with the Kratt A.R. Heddle trombone from the 1950s. I'm kind of guessing on this one. And so thank you all for tuning in and subscribing. And again, let me recap the 3 other YouTubers that I aspire to. Wesley for repair. Sam Plays Brass. I said it right that time. For all the different things that he reviews and puts videos up on, especially mouthpieces. He's great with the mouthpiece thing. And he's a competent trumpet player. He's not too bad at it. And of course, Aiden Ritchie, who's kind of avoiding the Palisades fire right now here in north of LA. Okay, signing off. Talk to you soon.